Hello and welcome to my channel, and welcome to this build video where we're going to talk a little bit about how I'm going to make this road. So roads, I got a lot of scale lumber. I got this 8018 and 8004 if you're interested. Some extra ones. I think this is more of the same, but just a different brand, longer format. We got ITLA sidewalks. Look at that. Let me get one here with this cover in it. Doesn't that just look amazing? Don't ask me how we're going to paint that, but that does look good. So we have those different sizes, ITLA scale models. Those three cut up is a mixture of this. This is still a bit wet. We all saw that Boomer diorama video of painting polystyrene ties, and I thought, well, let me just do the same, but with wooden ties, see what happens. Instead of just one easy wash, let me just use multiple washes and see if we can get some more color in there and all that. Of course, it's a bit different than polystyrene, but still I think it came out all right. And that's drying. That last wash is still there. I might do it again. So then onto the actual road, and we saw these nifty little mechanism. I'm gonna do a different video on that altogether because this cost me $2 and 5 minutes of my time. So I think people will probably want to know about that. And why did I do that? Well, because it's going to be road here, it's going to be covered. You're not going to be able to flick these with your finger anymore, just like that, like we're doing. And actually the entire layout is going to have these little handles sticking out. All these, well, 50, 60 turnouts. It's going to be a fun little job. And then here you see the difference, if I can get that in there, of the three different heights. So what are we going to use this for? I'm going to explain in a minute. But first, why? And if you remember, I did this diorama here, and this was a massive test piece for the entire layout. You really need to pay close attention to this and also your flange ways, because what are the lessons learned from this model is that it might fit in a dry situation, but once you add a layer of glue, which is like I think 0.15 or 0.2 of a millimeter, probably 2 or 3 layers of paint, it's going to be thicker. So this, if I change the angle, actually was more or less flush, but you see it popped up a bit. I mean, it's also a bit, see how it sets. Let's see if I can push it down. But anyway, that popped up. And this stuff from Chooch, these cobblestones are just a little bit too high. See if I put my finger there, you can hear it. And if you drive over it, you have the same sound. And also it lifts the wheels from the locomotive up, so you don't have power. So that doesn't really work. And the same here, this kit from ABR Model Works fits perfectly, but I raised it up too much. After applying all this paint, it's just too high in certain areas. So you really want to be careful. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like it so other people can find it as well. Now going to the road on this layout, we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different roads, and they're also almost all going to be different in some unique way of form and shape, because that's how it also was in the original Kingsbury section. And when this replicated New North section, as I call it, I want to have that. So there's different variants. Let's just talk a little bit about the variants before we start to do some modeling here. So one variant is you have a tie against the track on both sides, right there, and then right there, and right there. Just quickly put it down. And then it would be the same on the other tracks, obviously, but there would be asphalt here, there would be asphalt in the middle, and asphalt here, and so on. So it's just a string of wood hugging the rails. Another variant would be to have more or less that, but to fill in between the rails completely with wood. So something like that. This I'll do for the walkway anyways. That's the other variant. And then the last variant is just to completely put wood everywhere and don't have asphalt here with this. So let's get started. So here we are again, and I did a lot actually. I finished the pathway, I filled that in entirely, and I finished all these areas, and that white stuff, talk about that in a minute. So this here you clearly see the plan. I just wanted to have 2 rows of planks right there. I do think I'm going to add some bolt marks on it later as a nice detail. And very important, and what you need to be doing all the time is getting some kind of gauge or something flat, and to see that the wood is definitely not protruding the top of the rails, wherever that might be, on the side, the middle, anywhere. That's like ground rule one, right? So that's what you see as well. If we go down here, I don't know if we can get in the shot. You only see that white stuff. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute. So none of the wood is rising up. So, and despite having all these different shapes and sizes, I did have to shave it off just here. Only here. It was too high. And I just got a knife and laid it against the track, and you see it was just a bit too high. So we'll touch that up later, no worries. I had to use a lot of filler pieces, as you see right here. There, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Because I want these ties. If this is the track work, I don't want them to sit up under an angle like that. I want them to sit flat. So I had to fill that in so they don't go down. They go down in a few places. You want to mix and match it. Don't make it too consistent. So yeah, that's what I did there. Let's try those turnouts. Look at that. Even has the snapping sound. Now, one downside for these PECO turnouts, and I knew that before I started this project because I saw it in the diorama, is that the gap here is just ginormous right there. That is, your tire of your car is going to probably disappear in that, but it just is what it is for me. I have a switching layout. I have a mess, and underneath this mess is switching layout. And the first thing that needs to be done and my first priority is good continuous operations, track work that's perfect, no engines that are going to stall, anything like that. So yeah, then for me, this is acceptable. If you want to have, we'll go more to like diorama side, you probably want to get different turnouts, so do hand laid track or something like that, and get these gaps a little bit tighter. It is quite the gap, especially if I just put a tire there. And of course, you're not going to drive over it this direction, drive over in that direction, but still, it's quite the gap. But it just is what it is. Compromise. The hobby is all about compromises. So then after that, I started with the foam, and I used this Silly Wink foam. I got this method, come on, focus, from Robert Todd, and you can see it's foam. You can squeeze it, and it's really great to work with. It's super easy actually to work with, because what you do is you get, let's say for example, you want a piece right there. You get the foam, and then you press it. And then, if I can get that on camera, so you get the shape. Yeah, that's good. So you get the shape. You can see every little thing. So you just cut it with the scissors right there. And because it's foam, if I get a little bit of a fancy shape right here, because it's foam, see, it's not really 100% cut perfectly. I did it with a knife. But because it's foam, it will just squeeze in there and fit to the form, fit to the shape more or less. So yeah, so and this is like maybe like a half-hour job to do this, to be honest. Now what I need to do, I actually did these pieces again because I had the ingenious idea to take a lighter to the material to see what happens. And if you can just focus, and here you see what happens. The super sharp edge comes a little bit more rough and rolled. Is that a word? You know, it gets a little bit more softer like this. And that is a great effect, I've noticed, for the edges to simulate where the end of the asphalt is, basically. Because all this white stuff, I didn't say that yet, is asphalt and it's going to be painted, black or blue-gray or something like that, obviously. But you don't want to do that effect here in the middle. I did it here in the middle where the track meets up, or the asphalt meets the track, and it just gets messy. I don't want to make this messy. This is super tight. I'm really happy with that. But I will do the edges to simulate that the asphalt has ended. And in case you're wondering, this is an unused, abandoned piece of track. That's the word. So that's why it's all butted up and it filled into the track. So here we are. I painted the asphalt, and I know some of you guys want to know exactly which colors I use. So I first, because it's more worn out asphalt, I first did a very like 80% coat of this matte black, and then I did some spots of this coastal blue, great color, by the way. And then after that, I did, well, probably about a 70% coat, so covering almost everything of this flat gray primer. And here is the piece of cardboard. So you see on the cardboard a little bit better the spots where it's a little bit lighter, a little bit darker. There's a little bit of blue, not that much actually, on the cardboard. And this is how it came out. Then I did a quick wash over it all with slate gray. This is nice because it's a bit more grayish. I did neutral gray before, but it just didn't turn out well because the neutral gray is a bit more brownish. I didn't want that. I want more gray oldy look. And we obviously still need to weather it, but that's going to be for a different video. These sidewalks look awesome. Look at that. These are laser cut ITLA. It's the brand name. I think they're on the website. And when you buy them, I actually have a few more. When you buy them, they're like crisp, they're sharp like this, and I didn't want that, so I just took a X-Acto knife and I just roughened these edges up, as you see there, here a bit more, and also roughened the surface up like there. Here you see it a bit more, here in the front as well, maybe a bit easier to see. And then I just painted that, spray painted that gray, and I took a few of these concrete pours and I just made a different color just to break it up a bit. Here you see as well some more patches, a bit darker, a bit rough. That's just the way we like it. So that's that. I give that a black wash as well, just full disclosure. And of course here we have the main piece, and that is all this puzzle work, especially here. Puzzle it all in. This came out super tight. Really happy with that. I mean, it's mostly because it's straight and there's no turnouts. This is a bit puzzly. I'm fine how that turned out. Train runs over fine. I'll maybe add that in some B-roll if I have time to do that. And yeah, that's great. And I did the entire sidewalk. This whole section is more or less flat. And then here I made it a bit more rough, bit of a bump in it. I'll try to get some pictures of that. This is still drying. Just fill that in to finish this final section right there. So that's one of the roads. And yes, like I said, we'll still need to do a lot of weathering on it. Now it's just it's almost like a new new asphalt road almost. But yeah, it looks great. I'm happy with it. This is Chicago Avenue. So yeah, that is this part of the video for today. Thank you guys all for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.